Hello and welcome back, my friends. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you another plant profile video. We're going to be taking a closer look and pulling a harvest from the amazingly abundant Goumi Berry, known botanically as Elaeagnus multiflora. Check it out. So I'm over here next to my pond, sitting next to this absolutely beautiful specimen of edible berry known as the Goumi Berry. And this particular plant right here was grown from a seedling. I initially started growing 2 of these plants in my garden. I picked them up as small rooted seedlings. One was a name varietal and the other was grown from seedling. And oddly enough, it's the seedling that ended up producing the most abundance as far as berries go, and the overall shrub is extremely healthy and prolific. So, hey look, we got a little ladybug there. Today I'm going to be pulling a harvest. I've been picking berries off here and there for the last few days now, as we've got many that are just perfectly ripe. We've got some that are still ripening. One of the added benefits to this plant is that they don't all ripen at once, so you have an extended period to harvest. And I'm also happy to report that this year the birds have basically left this plant alone. I've got wildlife and birds all throughout the garden, and in the past, they've actually taken liking to this shrub and have eaten the majority of the harvest. But this year, for whatever reason, they basically left it alone. I think I do have one idea why, and that is because I've got some perennial tree kales and tree collards that have gone to seed, and the birds have been all over those plants. I'm letting them take what it is they want, and they've really been enjoying the seed pods on those plants. So I guess they're satiated. Between that and the bird bath, which they get their drinks from, I guess they're happy with that. So that's good news. So this plant here is around 4 or 5 years old, if I remember correctly. And it's approximately 4 feet, 4.5 feet tall by about 8 feet in width. And it expanded in width as once these side lateral branches get weighted down with the berries, they droop over. It's actually very ornamental as well. Very beautiful to add into the garden. And everywhere you look, there is just an abundance of berries. I'm estimating at least 2,000 to 3,000 berries on this shrub, maybe even more. Just one branch like this, you can count, it's probably got about 50, 60 berries on here. So the real issue here is keeping up with the harvest. I'm going to have to get myself one of those berry pickers, little rake tools, to scrape off the berries. The only issue with that would be is that not all of them are ripe at the same time. I don't want to pull off the unripe berries. Now, one of the most amazing features of this plant that will allow many folks to grow it in their gardens is its cold tolerance. It can withstand temperatures down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, -20 degrees Celsius. So that really opens up the door for a lot of folks to give this plant a grow. And overall, this plant is said to be very tolerant of many different types of soil conditions. As an added benefit, the Goumi Berry is also a nitrogen-fixing plant. That means that it's pulling some of the atmospheric nitrogen out of the airspace, and it's transferring that down to the root zone, where it creates nitrogen root nodules, which feed the plant itself and can also help to feed some of the surrounding plants in the area. So I'm going to go around and pull a harvest of the most ripened berries. They're at peak ripeness when they're a deep dark red in color, and if they get to a point where they're very soft, maybe even starting to wrinkle just a little bit, that's when the flavor profile is the most amazing. Overall, the flavor of this berry is sweet, tart, and slightly acidic. But as you get close to that peak ripeness is when the berry really shines and is the most delicious out of hand. But it's fruit crops like this that are oftentimes used to create preserves, jams, jellies, cooked into pies. You can throw these into smoothies or even make fruit roll-ups out of them with a food dehydrator. So I've got my bowl here, and I'm just going to go around and pull some of these berries off. Now they pull off of the plant very similar to a cherry, with the attached stem usually staying intact. So it makes it easy to just pull it right from the stem and take them off. Now within the berry, there's just one larger, easy to remove seed. So as you're eating it, it's very easy to just separate that seed out in your mouth and enjoy the fruit. And oftentimes what I find myself doing is just kind of leaving the seed in my mouth almost like a piece of candy, because it has kind of a gelatinous coating to it that is almost candy-like. And I may just wander around the garden with a couple seeds in my mouth for a little while before I spit them out and save them. I am going to be saving seeds from this harvest and hopefully offering that up to you folks in the near future. But you can find this plant online. Just do a search for Goumi Berry plants for sale, and you can usually find them. It may be a little bit out of season right now. The best time to order specialty plants like this online is a bit earlier in the season, early spring, or even late winter. And I'll just show you back over here is where I have the named varietal. And look at how much smaller the berries are on this one. The berries are smaller and the shrub is much smaller. And although it is getting more shade back here, it's thriving and doing well. I have pruned back the overstory shrub and allowed for more sunlight to come in from time to time. But overall, this plant does well in both part shade and full sun. Now, I planted both of these plants at the same exact time, and this one is literally double the size. And it's a good idea to plant two of these at once for the cross-pollination, which is going to aid in a more abundant fruit harvest. I don't think it's completely necessary, as this particular shrub here that I'm harvesting from began to fruit before that other variety back there even started to produce flowers. It may be something unique to this particular seedling, but in any case, when growing berry shrubs and fruit trees, even if it's a hermaphrodite specimen that has both male and female flowers and can produce on its own, being self-fertile, it's always a good idea, if you have the space, to add in a second variety of that same type of fruit, just to get that added cross-pollination, which is going to aid in a more abundant harvest. And this is so awesome. Look at all these fruits. These are just perfect. There's so many fruits on this branch. I'm just going to run my hand right down it. Oh, it's too soft to do that. Started to break open. You just look at this amazing abundance, my friends. This is what God's creation is all about. The garden is really the perfect analogy or representation of this planet that we live on. Just one little seed produced this amazing shrub with thousands of edible berries that all contain another seed within. I mean, I could probably stand out here for the next hour just harvesting. And I'm pulling off, 4 or 5, 6 at a time in some cases. But I just want to remind you to enjoy the harvest. Enjoy the experience. Right now, I'm out here pulling this harvest of berries, and I'm in a very peaceful mind state. There's a feeling of gratitude rushing over me as I'm harvesting this absolutely wonderful crop. But this is what it's all about. This is what the Food Forest Project that I began quite some time ago was really trying to create, was a situation of abundance where I can just head out to my yard and in a few minutes time harvest this amazing edible nutritious crop that is extremely hard to find. I've never actually been able to locate it locally in the grocery store, at the farmer's market, and that's more than likely because I'm sure they don't ship very well because they're so soft on the outside. But I really see a ton of potential for this particular crop to be brought to market, whether it's processed and frozen so that you could easily add it into a smoothie or something like that, or even turned into fruit snacks or what have you. But until that day comes, it's going to be up to you to include this type of a plant into your garden so that you can have access to it. Now, I could easily fill this bowl completely up with a berry harvest right now. They're literally everywhere. But this is going to do it for me for now. Just look at that. So I'll go ahead and bite into one of these and pull out the seed and show you what that looks like now. And that's what the seed looks like. It is a larger seed, which, like I said, makes it easier to just remove by mouth as you're eating the berry. But really, just such a special treat to enjoy on this beautiful spring day out in the garden. And I hope you're able to find some time to get out into your garden today. It is Friday, so I want to wish you all a happy Friday and have yourself a wonderful weekend. The garden is a great place to get grounded, decompress, and just appreciate some of the smaller things in life, like the birds that just flew by. So with that, I'm going to enjoy this snack, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.